me tell you something, brother. I'm the Hulkster, and I'm looking for a pro wrestling tag team partner with 24-inch pythons, just like I have. Oh, hello, nombre. It is me, Nacho Libre. Let us tag team. Hola, amigos. It's Will here from Will's Custom Figures, coming at you today with a big bad breakdown of none other than Nacho Libre, aka Jack Black. So please, guys, sit back and relax while I talk you through how and why I made this figure and all the details in between. Firstly, he's iconic. He's hilarious. Whether or not it's Lava Chicken and it's the new Minecraft film, whether or not it's Jumanji, or whether or not it's a pro wrestling situation and movie, this guy is the absolute perfect Hasbro retro figure to create. And I'm so happy with how he's turned out. As you can see, the body type next to Tito Santana here, and I'll get into a bit more detail on that a little bit later. But Jack Black has a little bit of a background about the guy himself. He has a cult following, and the love for Nacho Libre in 2006 is definitely there with the fan base. Now, let's bring in none other than the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan here. Rest in peace. Passed away a couple of weeks ago. Very, very sad. One of the all-time greats. But as you can see, he scales really, really well. Now, Nacho Libre is outside of the traditional WWE line that I usually create. And it's one of those projects that, do you know what? I felt like I can really put my creativity to the test and create something very, very unique. Now, Jack Black, of course, is film inspired by real-life Mexican wrestler Fray Tormenta. It was directed, the movie, by Jared Hess, aka Napoleon Dynamite. And as you can see here, bringing in some of the other legends like Brutus Beefcake and Ultimate Warrior, he stands really, really well in action figure form. I'm actually quite surprised that they haven't done anything like this already. WWE seems to get in all kinds of celebrities, whether or not it's Jelly Roll or it's Logan Paul or KSI. It's great to see some of the all-time greats showing their face in the pro wrestling world. Man, what I would do to see Jack Black in there, it'd be great. Here he is with good old Scotty Steiner, and the whole premise of the Nacho Libre film is about the Latino culture. He's a massive pop culture figure. And Jack Black, whether or not it's Tenacious D, Kung Fu Panda, or as I mentioned earlier, Jumanji or the Minecraft film, this guy really, really does know how to create some viral content, how to make people laugh and smile, which pro wrestling is all about. Now, very few official Nacho Libre figures exist in the world. Here he is next to good old Bret the Hitman Hart, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Now, this might be the first, one and only Hasbro-style WWF retro Jack Black, aka Nacho Libre figure that's out there. Now, I use the Tito Santana, aka Jake the Snake Roberts base because it's not the most muscular. It's still quite thick, it's quite chunky, as you can see here on the left versus Nacho Libre on the right. I had to make the torso a little bit bigger for it to be more comic accurate. When we were talking about creating this figure with my friend David, we were talking about maybe using Coca Beware or one of the larger, more, sort of muscular, chunky wrestling figures that are out there. However, decided to go with this and just to add on the clay. Now, of course, I had to super glue the torso. If I could turn the torso, as you can see here, it would snap the cape. Also, making the belly and making the pants and everything else more accurate, like Jack Black, I had to use a lot of clay, whether or not it's Milliput or Super Sculpey, to try and define all of the little details and make sure it was comic accurate. Of course, adding the cape on, using a rolling pin to roll out with the Super Sculpey clay and then cook that in my air fryer. And then using the Milliput to create all these little golden tassels on the back. I'm really, really happy with how it's turned out. As you can see, the base body before, I'd always take the head off first, put the head on, sculpt that in place, and then start to layer and add on the details as we go, such as the cape, such as the torso, such as all the little details like the tassels down the back, or even the tassels at the front that you can see I've tied into a little knot and then attached to the body as well. Now, there are a lot of other custom movie crossover, for example, like Hulk Hogan as Thunderlips or Roddy Piper as Nada from They Live. Other Hasbro-style customs that I've done, whether or not it's horror or comedy or cult appearances in the past. Now, this is absolutely the time of all times to get Nacho Libre in there. Maybe he needs a Metal Elite Wrestling figure next. Let me know in the comment section below if you want a different scale to come very soon. Now, the head was actually 3D sculpted and made for me and sent to me. So thank you to whoever did that. It actually didn't look like Jack Black until I painted it. But after painting it, I can definitely see the resemblance to Nacho Libre. I do have more copies of this. If anyone wants one of these figures, hit me up in the comment section, let me know. Now, how did I adapt it to fit? Well, as you can see, picking the right body, as I mentioned earlier, was first and foremost the most important thing. Then, as you can see here, using the Citadel paints, I used Kislev flesh for the entire body. This, though, is Cadian flesh tone. It's slightly more sort of red, a little bit more rosy. It's got a little bit more contrast and darker tones. So I can use that on the lips and on the cheeks to try and highlight some of the more specific areas where there's shade. For example, underneath the bags of the eyes, using it on some of the ears. I think the little things like that really make the face pop, and I'm so happy with how they turned out. Now, did I go with the cartoonish or more realistic vibe? To be honest with you, I went a little bit more cartoonish. I think Hasbro and the old school retro WWF figures are a little bit more cartoonish. And as you can see, that little bit of colour, that little bit of blush in the cheeks really does make it stand out. It's that cross between more realistic and a little bit more cartoonish, but I'm very happy nevertheless. Now, painting all the details. Used Vallejo paints for all of this. Vallejo gold for the back, blood red for the cape, and then using beastie brown and a couple of other brown colours, as well as blacks and whites for all the facial hair and the hair on top of the head as well. Now, in addition to that, one of the most important things to do is to use a varnish gloss. I'll show you a little bit more on that in a minute, but there has been no expenses spared in trying to fix this figure and make it perfect. This was actually a bit of a beta before originally getting it. There was lots of wear and tear, scratches. Someone used it previously for paint work and trying to make it custom, and it was really, really poor condition. So it took a lot of time and patience to get it more accurate. And as you can see here from the front, a little bit more of an up close as to the thickness and the weight that I've added on that torso. Very important to have used Super Sculpey clay to do that, and super glue, as well as an accelerator spray to freeze that center core part, otherwise it would snap the clay. Now, here's a little bit of gloss varnish by Vallejo. This one is absolutely battered. I've used this for many, many years, and put in a little line on the lips and both of the eyes, and a little bit throughout the hair, gives those little accents, those little shines under different kinds of lights that will make it stand out. And that's very, very important to get that realistic look. Now, keep the belly rounded and smooth. Painting tip, blend in the skin tones, very important. When you're doing that, use a little bit on your brush, wipe most of it off, and then use some liquid, dip it in, and then dry brush that little bit in the liquid, and it will fall and sit within all the little creases of the face and give a nice little blended tone rather than clear lines, which you want to try to avoid. Now, sealing and finishing, as you can see, I used a matte spray over the whole thing, but using a little bit of a gloss on top just makes it pop that last little bit that you would like to do, of course, when working on any kind of custom figure. Now, what are my final reflections? Jack Black is one of the all-time pop culture legends and icons of today's day and age. I was watching Minecraft a couple of days ago with my family members, and do you know what? It shocked me. I couldn't believe it, because Jack Black is now in his mid-50s. I remember this guy was in The Holiday and some of these early on films. However, Nacho Libre has always had a special place in my heart because I love the pro wrestling industry. I love the pro wrestling world, and seeing Jack Black in that, absolutely brilliant. This was so much fun. It made me smile all the way through. The challenges, of course, making it slightly bigger, using a smaller scale figure and then making it more accurate, especially when the guy is such an iconic character. Now, I invite you guys and any fans watching this to reach out. Should I work on any other comedy or movie crossover figures? For example, School of Rock, Minecraft Steve, or I don't know, maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger from Kindergarten Cop. Just let me know, guys. Anything you guys are interested in, I'm interested in working on. So, as far as my next custom figures, should I work on the tag team partner for Nacho Libre? That's a good one. This challenge had a special place in my heart. My kids absolutely love Jack Black, as do I, so making sure it was as good as I could possibly make it was very, very important. And I'm so happy with how it's finally turned out. Now, what's next? Guys, stay tuned. I've got Drake Maverick, aka Spud from TNA. I've got lots of other custom figures. I'm going to finally do that Norman Smiley review. I've got Marvel Legends Serpent Society members and everything else in between, from DC to horror and beyond. So please, guys, thank you for watching. It has been an absolute pleasure. Here's a nice little montage with some beautiful pictures of Jack Black from the movie and from my action figures that you've seen. If you've been watching for 10 minutes now, thank you so much. I appreciate you. As always, I can't wait to see you guys on the next one. So from me, from Jack Black, I'll see you guys on the next one. Adios!